9th May 2021 Madhuban Avyakt BapDada Om Shanti. Revise 27th December 1987. The Murli's title is Signs of the Victorious Jewels Whose Intellects Have Faith. Today, BapDada is looking at his victorious children everywhere whose intellects have faith. He is looking at the signs of faith in every child. The main signs of faith are: first, as is your faith, accordingly the spiritual intoxication will be visible in your actions and words and on your face at every moment. Second point, you will easily experience victory in your every action and thought in a practical way. You will experience victory not in some form of effort but in the form of visible fruit and right. Third point, there won't be even 1% doubt even in your thoughts, in your elevated fortune, in your elevated life, in the Father, or in your connections and relationships with the family. Fourth point, all question marks will have finished and you will have become a point who puts a full stop in every situation. Fifth point, when your intellect has faith, you will easily and automatically experience yourselves to be a carefree emperor at every moment. That is, you will not repeatedly have to make effort to bring that awareness. You won't have to labor to say, I am an emperor, but you will be constantly stable on the elevated seat of your throne. In worldly life, your stage is created according to the situation. Whether it is a stage of happiness or sorrow, you automatically stay in the experience of that stage. You don't repeatedly have to remind yourself, I am happy or I am unhappy. You easily and naturally experience the stage of being a carefree emperor. In worldly life, your stage is created according to the situation, but in this powerful alaukic Brahmin life, your stage is not created according to the situation. For you have the elevated stage of a carefree emperor through receiving the light and might of knowledge from BapDada and from the power of remembrance. You would refer to this as receiving the inheritance of the powers of knowledge and yoga from the Father. In Brahmin life, you attain your stage through the inheritance from the Father, through the blessings from the Sadguru, and the elevated fortune you receive from the bestower of fortune. If your stage is based on the situation, then who is more powerful? The situation would be more powerful, would it not? Those who create their stage on the basis of the situation can never become unshakable and immovable. In a life without knowledge, 1 minute they are dancing with a lot of happiness and the next minute they are sleeping on their stomachs. In alaukic life, you don't have a stage of such fluctuation. You are not dependent on the situation, but on the basis of your inheritance, blessings, and your elevated stage, you transform the situation. So, because of this, one whose intellect has faith is always a carefree emperor. You worry when something is lacking or something is missing. But if you are an embodiment of all attainments, if you are a master almighty authority, What is there to worry about? Sixth point. When your intellect has faith, you always surrender to the Father. To surrender means to surrender completely, to surrender every trace and progeny, whether it is the progeny of vices that bring you into body consciousness, the progeny of bodily relations, or the progeny of a desire for temporary things associated with the body. All of those things are included in the progeny. To be completely surrendered and to be a complete renunciate are the same thing. To surrender doesn't mean that you sit in Madhuban or at a center. To offer yourself for service is a step on the ladder, but to surrender yourself completely is the destination of the ladder. You have climbed one step of the ladder, but the sign of one whose intellect has faith, who reaches the destination, is that he would have surrendered all three progenies. You now know all three things very clearly. Do you not? All progeny ends when there isn't the slightest trace of it in your dreams or thoughts. If any trace remains, a progeny will be created. This is why the destination of a complete renunciate is extremely deep. Baba will tell you more at some other time. 7th point. One whose intellect has faith will always be carefree and free from worry. He will experience the intoxication of guaranteed victory in every situation. Faith enables you to experience being carefree with the guarantee at every moment. 8th point. Such a soul will always remain intoxicated, and seeing his intoxication, others too will experience that spiritual intoxication. He will give others an experience of spiritual intoxication with help from the Father and his own stage. What would be the specialities of someone whose intellect has faith and who stays in spiritual intoxication? Firstly, to the extent that there is elevated intoxication, so he would accordingly have humility in every act of life. Because of having this speciality of humility, he would have a creative intellect. He would pay attention to the intellect to the extent that it is humble, so it is creative. You speak of renewal, so his intellect would be one that brings about renewal. He would be creative and also humble. Where there are these specialities, such a person is called victorious because his intellect has faith, an instrument, creative and humble. What would be the language of one whose intellect has faith? To be constantly sweet in this language is a common thing for one whose intellect has faith, but he would also have generosity. Generosity means he would have the generosity to make all souls move forward. You first, not me. Me. Generosity means to keep others ahead, just as Father Brahma always kept Mother Jagdamba and the children at the front. Jagdamba is cleverer than I am. Thus children are cleverer than I am. This is the language of generosity. Where there is generosity, where you don't have any desire to keep yourself in the front, then according to the drama, you automatically receive the fruit you desire. The more you stay in the stage of being ignorant of all desires, the more the Father and the family consider you to be worthy and keep you in the front. So, those who say you first in their minds, means hearts, cannot be left behind. They say you first in their minds, and so they are automatically put first by everyone. However, someone with this desire would not be. So the language of someone whose intellect has faith is that of generosity, the language of contentment, and the language of benefiting everyone. Someone with such language would be said to be victorious because his intellect has faith. All of your intellects have faith, do they not? Because faith is the foundation. However, when the storms of situation, of Maya, of sanskars, and the different forms of nature come, you then know how strong the foundation of your faith is. In this old world, you have different types of storms, do you not? Sometimes of the wind, sometimes of the ocean. In the same way, here too, you have different types of storms. What does a storm do? It first blows you and then throws you. So here storms also first pull you to themselves with pressure. They take you high in some temporary intoxication, because Maya also knows that you will not go to her unless there is some attainment. So she first makes you fly high with artificial attainment. Then she drops you down in the falling stage. She is clever. So the vision of those whose intellects have faith is that of three eyes, means Trinetri. They see the three aspects of time with their third eye, and they can therefore never be deceived. So faith is tested at the time of a storm, just as storms uproot the foundations of big old trees. So the storms of Maya also try to uproot the foundation of your faith. However, the result is that the foundation is not uprooted that much, but it shakes a lot. The foundation even becomes weak because of being shaken. So, at such a time, check the foundation of your faith. If you ask anyone if they have firm faith, what would they say? They would give you a very good lecture. It is good to have faith. However, if at such a time your faith shakes, then for it to shake means that you are also shaken from your reward for birth after birth. Therefore, check at the time of storms when someone doesn't give you some limited name or regard, or when the storms of Maya come in the form of wasteful thoughts, when the desires you have are not being fulfilled. Then at that time do you remember your faith of being a powerful soul of the Almighty Father, or does the wasteful become victorious over the powerful? If the wasteful becomes victorious, then the foundation of your faith would shake, would it not? Then instead of experiencing yourself to be powerful, you will experience yourselves to be a weak soul. You would then be disheartened. This is why you are being told to check at the time of storms. Limited name and honor and the consciousness of I bring you down from spiritual pride. Any limited desire will bring you down from the faith of being completely ignorant of the knowledge of desires. So, faith does not mean I am not a body but a soul. But what type of soul am I? To experience that intoxication and self-respect at that time is called being victorious, because the intellect has faith. If someone doesn't take a paper but says that he has passed with honors, would anyone believe him? A certificate is required, no matter with how many marks someone passes, or if he has a degree until he receives his certificate. There is no value. When you take the test paper at the time of the paper and you pass it and receive the certificate from the father and the family, you can then be called victorious through having faith in the intellect. Do you understand? So continue to check your foundation. You had the speciality of having an intellect with faith, did you not? Let the spiritual intoxication according to the time be visible in your life. Let it not be just your mind that is pleased, but people should also be pleased. Let everyone experience you as being a soul who remains intoxicated. Do not just be one who is liked by yourself, but also be liked by people and by the Father. This is what it is to be victorious. Acha, to all the victorious jewels whose intellects have faith, to all the carefree children who are free from worry, to the spiritual souls who stay in the intoxication of having guaranteed victory, to all the spiritual souls who go beyond all storms and experience them to be a gift, to the children whose intellects have faith and who remain constantly unshakable, immovable and stable in a constant state. BapDada's love, remembrance and Namaste. The spiritual children says Namaste and good morning to the spiritual father. BapDada meeting foreign brothers and sisters. Do you experience yourselves to be closed dwells? What is the sign of closed dwells? They will always experience being easy and natural jnani, yogi souls who are embodiments of virtues and servers. These four specialities will easily be experienced in every step of the closed dwells. Not a single one of this would be any less. Not that he would be not so good at yoga or better at yoga, or would be weak when it comes to imbibing divine virtues. He would easily experience being constant in everything. A closed dwell will never experience anything to be hard work, but will easily experience success because BapDada liberates you children from laboring at the confluence age, whether it was effort through your body or effort through your mind. You have labored for 63 births, have you not? You kept trying various methods in order to find the Father. So that was effort of the mind, and even looking at wealth, the service that you do, which you call a job. Look how hard you work in that. That also requires effort, does it not? However, you will not have to do that work for half the cycle. You will not be liberated from that too. Neither will you have a lockic job, nor will you do devotion. You will be liberated from both. Even now, although you do have a lockic job while being in Brahmin life, you now find it different doing your lockic job. Do you not? Now while doing your lockic job, you remain double light. Why? Because while doing your lockic job, you have the happiness that you are carrying out that job for the sake of alokik service. You don't have any desires in your mind, do you? Where there are desires, you find it takes effort. Now you are just doing it in name because you know that by using all three, your body, mind and wealth, you are accumulating multi-million fold return for one in the imperishable bank. You will then simply continue to eat what you have accumulated. You will be liberated from the labor of making effort to have yoga, of listening to and relating knowledge. You sometimes get tired of listening to classes, do you not? There you will do the logic study of royalty while playing round. You won't have to remember so many books. You will be liberated from all types of effort. Some have a burden of study. At the confluence age, you are recording the sanskars of becoming free from laboring. Even if storms of Maya do come, you consider gaining victory over Maya to be a game, not laboring. What happens in a game? You have to gain victory, do you not? So, you play a game of gaining victory over Maya. Do you find it to be a game or something difficult? When you are stable in the stage of a master almighty authority, you will find it to be a game. In fact, you challenge her even more to come and take leave for half the cycle. So she comes to celebrate the farewell ceremony, not to fight with you. A victorious jewel is victorious in every task, at every moment. You are victorious, are you not? Haji. Yes, indeed. So, when you go back, say Haji there too. Nevertheless, you have become very courageous. Previously, you used to get afraid very quickly. Now, you have become courageous. You have now become experienced. So, you have become those who have the authority of experience. You have also developed the power to discern, and you are therefore not afraid. You have been victorious many times. You are and you will be victorious. Always have this awareness. Acha. BapDada speaking to Dadis at the time of farewell. Dadi Janki came back after 3 to 4 days tour of Bombay. You have become the ruler of the globe now. It is good. There is service here and service there too. Whilst living here, you do service, and wherever you go, service takes place. You have taken a very big contract of service. You are a big contractor, are you not? There are many small contractors, but those who are big contractors have to carry out big tasks. Baba, today I enjoyed myself a lot listening to the Murli. There is nothing but pleasure. It is good. You people catch this and make it clear for others. Not everyone can catch this to the same extent. Just as Jagdamba used to listen to the Murli, clarify it and enable everyone to imbibe it by making it easy. Similarly, you are now an instrument for that. Some new ones are unable to understand, but BapDada is not looking at only those who are in front of him. Baba doesn't only look at those who are sitting in front of him. He keeps everyone in front of him. Nevertheless, when the especially beloved ones are sitting in front, it emerges for them. You can even read it and catch it. Acha, blessing. May you spend less and bring about greater glorification and become powerful by stopping any wasteful leakage. Explanation. Save all the treasures you have received from BapDada at the confluence age from any vestige, and you will become one who brings about greater glorification through less expenditure. To save anything from being wasted means to become powerful. It is not possible for there to be any vestige where there is power. If there is any leakage of waste, then no matter how much effort you make or hard work you do, you cannot become powerful, and this is why you have to check any leakage and stop it. Then from being wasteful, you will become powerful. Slogan. To remain completely pure while living at home with your family is the challenge of a yogi and Jnani soul. Om Shanti.